And our old friend Reverend William Barber is back with us, the pastor of the Greenleaf Christian Church, president of the North Carolina NAACP, and architect of the Moral Monday movement in that state of North Carolina. NAACP-NC, as in North Carolina.org, the website. And Reverend Barber, welcome back.
Hello, Tom. How you doing these days?
I'm great, and it's great to hear your voice. I understand they're trying to make you guys illegal.
Well, that's what's happening. You know, you have down here Thom Tillis, who is leading the most extreme legislature in the country, along with Barber and McCrory. And they've engaged in a whole year of what we call political tragedy. Now they want to engage in political tyranny and try to shut down the mouth of the people, but it's not working.
Is it true what I hear that that basically these guys? I mean, I understand the way it's supposed to work is you go to people and say, elect me as an elected official and I will represent you. The people elect you, and then you meet with the people regularly. You hear the voice of the people and you do the bidding of the people. But these guys are saying, we want to be elected by presumably billionaires or Art Pope or somebody, you know, with lots of money for television advertising. And then once we get into office, if anybody wants to come and talk to us or make any kind of noise or, you know, exercise their constitutional rights of freedom of assembly or free speech, we want to throw them in jail. Are they seriously attempting to criminalize Moral Mondays?
Well, that's what they're attempting to do. You know, it's an old tactic. In essence, what they want is they want to get elected. They want to cheat to get elected by gerrymandering districts and writing all kinds of voting rules to stop people from voting. Our Constitution says that all political power should only be used for the good of the whole. Instead, they want to listen to the whims of a few, like Art Pope, the Tea Party, and ALEC, because Thom Tillis sits on the board of ALEC, and you know, by the way, he's running for Senate.
Wow.
And then in addition to that, our Constitution says we have a right to come and instruct our legislators. Well, they want to say that if you talk in a voice that they perceive as not normal, or if you bring in a placard that offends them in any way, then you can be charged with a second-degree misdemeanor. But the people here are saying that we will not be stifled, and we're going to speak up because last year they passed laws that were on paper. Now it's creating pain. They cut the earned income tax credit, Tom, for 900,000 people. Ronald Reagan supported the earned income tax credit.
Right.
They took 170,000 people unemployment. They took 500,000 people to access the Medicaid expansion. And this past Tuesday, 15 people sat in Thom Tillis' office demanding that he repeal these decisions. One lady, Tom, had cervical cancer and cannot get Medicaid expansion because of this decision. And Speaker Tillis would not even come by and talk to this woman. Young white lady would not even talk to her. Wow. Because they are political cowards and they are extremists and they're trying to run from the will of the people.
That's amazing. Now, meanwhile, you have the Dan River coal ash spill in Eden, North Carolina, is affecting you guys, and you're speaking out about this. Tell us about this.
Yeah, it's the worst spill, third worst spill in the history of the country. You have Duke Power saying that coal ash is not toxic, but of course they're not drinking the water that they spilled it in. Yeah. And you have the speaker and the governor and others protecting business. And now that they've had this spill, they want to turn around and charge the people who are affected by the spill for the cleanup. And so in essence what we have, this is the level of extremism that we're fighting in North Carolina. We're going to eventually win against them. They deny you health care. Then they deny you protection environmentally. And then they try to deny you the right to vote so you can't speak out. And then after they've done all these extreme things, then they turn around and want to give people more guns. I mean, it is ludicrous. And the problem with it, Tom, it's not Republicanism. I keep telling people, when you talk about North Carolina, don't say Republican versus Democrat, because Eisenhower supported public education. Teddy Roosevelt supported environmental justice and public health. And H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan supported unemployment and earned income tax credit. So these guys are extremism gone wild. It's way off the chart. It's dangerous for states and it's dangerous for America, we believe.
Yeah, but Bernie Sanders is always careful to point out that distinction too. He said these guys are right-wing extremists. They're not Republicans. Right. They have taken over the Republican Party to a large extent, but they don't represent the traditional values of that party, which you may disagree with, but which are arguably not anywhere near as toxic as these right-wing extremists. So,
and the trick, what they do in elections, they will run some doubly extreme Tea Partiers against them in, say, a primary, to then try to claim to be moderate.
right.
But it's bait and switch. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And reality is everything the Tea Party has stood against. For instance, let me give you one quick thing. In North Carolina, 4 million people now benefit from the Affordable Care Act. That means they can't be kicked off of their insurance because of a precondition. Nearly 300,000 people signed up, and yet Speaker Tillis and Barber and McCoy are still of the crowd that want to repeal it, even though it's impacted millions of people in North Carolina in a positive way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And they are refusing to expand Medicaid to working people who don't make enough money to qualify for Obamacare, but make too much money to qualify for state-based Medicaid, like this young woman with cervical cancer.
Exactly.
And their attitude is just let them die.
That's don't talk to them. They want the protest to die, and seemingly they're not concerned if people die, because the statistics say that 2,800 people will die for every 500,000 people you deny. So they want to raise taxes on the working poor by ending the earned income tax credit. They want to step on people who are unemployed for no fault of their own. They want to deny medical care to the working poor. And in the midst of this, this is the crowd that always joins up with the religious right, talking about what's moral. Well, that's why we have said this is deeply immoral. It's constitutionally inconsistent, morally indefensible, and it's economically insane. Because we have hospitals now closing in North Carolina or cutting major staff because of their denial of Medicaid expansion. This is just political tyranny, and it's very tragic that people would use their power in such a way. We kind of call it political malpractice as well.
Right.
And that's why we have young people doing Freedom Summer. We're going into 50 counties doing registering people to vote like never before. We're fighting them in the courts. We're fighting to get an injunction against these voting laws they put in place. People are sitting in. We're running a sit-in campaign, and it's going to escalate and escalate because we're not going to stand for this. Our lawyers are going to challenge these laws in court. They can do whatever they want to, but we are not going away. And this is it's not one side. It's black, it's white, it's Republican, it's Democrat, it's young, it's old, gay, it's straight. It's everybody's coming together. You should see the diversity in these crowds. This is not their old South. This is indeed the new South, and we're standing up.
Good on you. Good on you. We're talking with Reverend William J. Barber, president of the NAACP of North Carolina, NAACPNC.org. Twitter account, WJB8 or NCNAACP, with the @ sign at the beginning of them. And we just a half a minute left here, sir. You are going to be engaged in civil disobedience next week?
Oh, yes. Monday, there are people already considering. We will have our Maul Monday starting at Monday at 5 o'clock. And the focus is going to be on Medicaid expansion, health care, and environmental protection. Because, you got to add fracking to that as well. They're also pushing hard to start fracking in this community. So we have people who are just sick and tired of it. They're just fed up, and they're willing, if necessary, to dramatize this shameful actions to the whole world. And if we have to do it through the sit-in tactic, we'll do just that.
It's always great talking with you, Reverend Barber. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Tom. Take care.
Thank you. Be sure to check out the website, NAACPNC, as in North Carolina.org. Moral Monday is going to be a real interesting time.